My name is Kenya. This is Carl, my husband of 26 years, and this is Tiger, my husband of 10 years.
Welcome to Happily Ever Reality. I'm so glad you're here. Today we are talking about Seeking Brother Husband, the show that is proving to disappoint me like no other. If you've watched any of my other videos about Seeking Brother Husband, then you know that I am a fan of this show. I find it really refreshing. I've watched a lot of shows about polygamy. I started this channel watching Sister Wives. I'm rewatching My 5 Wives. I've watched Seeking Sister Wife, not completely, wasn't as into that show for the sake of honesty, but I do watch a lot of shows about polygamy. I've seen the documentaries on Netflix and on Hulu. You know, I like to watch shows about polygamy. It's interesting. It's a different life that I would never choose to live. So when this show came on, I was really excited. It looked like a super refreshing take on polygamy. You know, this was going to be the time we finally see what it will be like if there is a woman that is the center of the relationship and she has multiple male partners. Another thing about it that makes it different from other polygamous shows is no one here is doing this because of their faith. Everyone's an adult, well into adulthood, so we don't have people getting married young. There's no pressure. You know, there's no manipulation. There's nothing that feels like anyone's being exploited. Everyone on this show is well into adulthood and seems to be choosing this lifestyle, which isn't always the case for shows about polygamy. So I was really excited to hear about this show. I thought this is going to be the other side of it. You know, we're going to see what happens when there are women who are sort of the leaders of these relationships and how they go. I was definitely into watching, but immediately I noticed some things that were a little bit off. I want to start off by talking about something that's already a little bit misleading, and that is the name of the show, Seeking Brother Husband. You know, this show has 4 women, and each of these women are married to at least one man. So there's one husband, if not more, and then they're open to dating other people. I say dating because I don't think all of these women are actually looking for husbands or serious relationships. So the title of the show is already misleading. I'm going to go as far as saying that one of them isn't really looking for a serious relationship at all and is just looking to hook up on the side. So not everyone here is looking for a husband. But there was one woman in particular that really stood out to me, and that was Kenya. She is very outgoing. She is confident. She's flirtatious, and she's honest about who she is. She communicates really well. She also has 2 husbands. And I thought when I was watching it, man, these people are actually doing this lifestyle and living it. And these 2 men are getting along so well. And if you watch the show, you find out that her husband of 26 years, Carl, he has his own bedroom, and then she shares a bedroom with the new husband, which surprised me a little that, you know, the first husband wouldn't mind being kind of put to the side. But I thought, you know what, if it works for them, it works for them, right? They're doing this, and these 2 men get along so well. But in no time flat, I started having articles show up when I would be scrolling on my phone that basically said that they weren't who they, were saying they were on the show. That Kenya, Carl, and Tiger were not really living the lifestyle, the polygamous lifestyle, the way they were presenting it on Seeking Brother Husband. And here's my rule with social media. I think social media can ruin watching a show if you're watching reality TV, because you'll find out who's divorced or who's not together or who's together now or who had a baby before the show ever gets there. So if I'm really into a show, I try not to go onto social media and see what's happening. It's going to just ruin it a little bit. But this past week, I finally gave in and read one of the articles about Kenya, Carl, and Tiger. So I wanted to show you the article I read. It is over on Sarcasm, and I will put a link in the description box in case you want to go read it. But the title here is Seeking Brother Husband. Kenya's men are free to date and marry other women. It's actually dated back to February 26th. So that shows you how late I am to actually clicking on these headlines and reading the gossip about these people. But basically, you know what? All of these men are in other relationships. There's even a tweet here from Kenya that says, there are 2 things that I wish TLC would allow on our show. 1, the fact that we are polyamorous, not polyandrous. And 2, not edit out our up-level containers. There's a quote here that says, "My husband, he has a woman in every state. Tiger's with all my friends. Noble lives with his wife in Atlanta." She goes on to say that Tiger has 4 partners in Asheville. So here's my thing. If you watch the show, Patrick and Shara, that's another couple in the show, they live in Atlanta. And then the other couple, Dustin and Kim, live in Asheville. Do they all know each other? Do these couples, or at least 3 of the couples, know each other? Now, Mike and Elisa they're in California. I think they might be in LA. But it sounds like they all know each other, because Kenya actually says here that Noble lives with his wife in Atlanta. This Noble is the same Noble that is with Shara on the show. But they never bring it up. They never present that. TLC does not share that in any way on this show. And they should. They should. We find out that Carl has another wife. And it even says here, there's an update in this article. It says, "I didn't realize when I wrote this that Kenya's boyfriend Noble was going to be on Seeking Brother Husband, dating another woman." Yeah, he's dating Shara. Like, they don't present any of this on the show. And to me, it makes a huge difference. It's really, really dishonest. And my bar for honesty is pretty low when it comes to shows like this. I think any of us that have been watching reality TV for a while know that they edit things, they change the order of events, they take things out of context to make a show. But to me, this actually just changes the whole concept of the show altogether. Why didn't they do a show about polyamory? Why make it a Seeking Brother Husband show? It changes things if the husbands are also seeking wives. I am going to put in a clip here of Kenya talking about Carl's other wife, and also them talking about their book and their business Up Level. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put that here. This is open on their Instagram. Like, you can totally see all of her videos and see her talking about Carl's other wife.
This is my co-wife, Karina. She got married to my husband in May of 2021. Here we all are.
There you have it. He has another wife, and they could have presented this on the show. Like, I almost feel as if Kenya, Carl, and Tiger could have had a show, and it could be a show where they're showing other couples how to live out polyamory. It could have shown the link to Shara and Patrick. There were so many ways this show could have been good and more honest than what TLC did with it. I'm going to read what Kenya says about her relationship with Carl here. This is the Instagram post that Kenya made about the season finale of the show and the wedding ceremony that she was having with Tiger. Now, if you look at my screen, it says Progressive Love Academy. It doesn't say Kenya's name, but this is her account. I believe that is the name of their business. So let me read what she wrote, and I'm not going to interject anything into it. I'm going to read straight through it, and I do have some opinions that I want to talk about at the end. "Who will be at my wedding Sunday night? Carl Stevens will marry me and Tiger this week on Seeking Brother Husband, which is a historic first of its kind event. The amazing thing about this ceremony is we always plan to have Carl marry us because he has been so instrumental in us having a successful poly life. Carl could simply be one of these men who just cheats. He is a very lovable and sexy man, so in another universe, I'd be faithful to him while he makes mistakes over and over in a one-sided, secret poly union. But instead, he stood up and he owned that it just makes sense for equality that my wife have free access to outside relationships as well. And for this, I honor him. The beauty is we have always told one another our truths. We have never cheated on one another, and we live in the open. So here we are, 28 years of marriage, 17 years of polyamory, and we are both married to many others while our unconditional love still burns strong. I'm so proud of this accomplishment. Carl wrote the ceremony, Bliss Coach PJ did the invocation, and all 4 of our children were present. It's a first of its kind, never seen before historic wedding ceremony that you do not want to miss. Grab your crew and watch Sunday night on TLC. We know it's sparking convo. Will you be watching? See you Sunday night." Okay, so that is the post, right? Here is what I want to say. At the beginning of this, or toward the beginning, number 1, she says it's a historic event. It's probably the first of its kind. I don't know how well this show is doing and how many people even know this is going on, like that this show is happening. It's kind of late, like not super late, but it's after 90 Day Fiancé. I just wonder how well this show is actually doing for TLC. But the part I really want to talk about is this part. Carl could simply be one of these men who just cheats. He is a very lovable and sexy man, so in another universe, I'd be faithful to him while he makes mistakes over and over in a one-sided secret poly union. So she's calling it secret poly, but if you're married and your partner is hiding that they're hooking up with someone else, I don't call that secret poly. You can say having an affair, you can say cheating, but like secret poly makes it sound like it's acceptable. To me, it's not acceptable that you are hiding that you're seeing someone else. You're putting someone's health at risk by going on and hiding that you're hooking up with other people. So calling it secret poly, a secret poly union, makes it sound like it's okay, and it's not okay. All right, so it's not okay. It wouldn't have been okay for Carl to do that to her. Just wouldn't have been. So I just want to get that off my chest. I don't feel like a secret poly is a thing. Then it goes on and says, but he stood up and he owned that it just makes sense for equality. So I don't understand if they chose this lifestyle together at the same time, or was Carl having problems being monogamous and this was the solution to that problem. And then when they did it, they realized it worked. And so now they're sort of promoting it because, they've tried it and they think this is a successful way to divorce proof. And they use those words, divorce proof a marriage. So I don't know, like, was it something they chose together, or was it a situation where Carl was not going to be monogamous and this was a solution? And then just going further with it, the whole show sells itself as Kenya having multiple husbands and doesn't even bring up the fact that there are multiple wives as well. It completely changes the show for me. And Carl does have another wife. There are photos of them on social media. They don't even deny it. So I cannot figure out how TLC thought this was a good idea. Again, I know they edit things and they take things out of context. TLC just does that. That is what makes reality TV so interesting, is it's been edited like crazy, but this is just blatantly being dishonest about the premise of the show and the couples on it. So I had to get that out there and get that off my chest because I was not happy when I saw that. Here I am thinking like, oh, look at this. We're finally seeing it the other way, but it's really not the other way from all the other polygamous shows. This is polyamory. It is different. Let me know what you think in the comments. Was this a situation where it was too dishonest? Did TLC sort of push it a little bit by not sharing this, or does it make no difference to you? It clearly does to me. It really changes stuff for me when I'm watching the show. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you like talking about reality TV, go ahead and click like and subscribe, and I hope you come back.